when I was in primary school. I don't know the difference between the Igbos, the Yorubas, the Hausas, the Fulanis. We are all in the same school. We go to each other's houses, we eat, we play together. One of my friends, Chidi, his father sell provision. You know, we'll go to the shop, take sweet out of the father's shop, he will be chasing us around. One of my friend Abraham, his father is tailor from Oyo State. We go to his shop and play with the sewing machine. That was how beautiful life is. We don't know this discrimination because of my tribe or my religion or segregation. This is not who we are as a nation. We found ourselves in this because the class of politicians of 1999 do not believe that democracy will last. So the career politicians back out. The non-career politicians that have access to some little funds out of patronage by military regime took over the political space. And largely, almost 80% of them are not connected to their community, are not connected to anybody. All they know is how to make money. They don't know what is happening in the villages. They don't know how dispensary functions before. They don't know how local government functioned before. So that is why we cripple the local government system. It's part of the migration, it's part of the crisis that the federal government is trying to handle today. If local government were functioning, we cannot have a food chain, a food supply chain cut off. Because largely in Nigeria, most of the foods are being generated from the local government, from the communities. Today, the insecurity, the kidnapping, the barbarism, the failure of leadership have crippled our communities. They cannot even farm. They cannot. We are just trading blames for nothing. But the crop of leaders from 1999 that are not career politicians key into the system, hijack the system, and it's the only reason why a governor will tell you, look, it's my money. He was elected. But he will tell you the resources of the state belongs to him. If you give me 10,000, I give you 10,000 of my money. That is how low we are. And this situation, unless we made up our mind that we have the capacity to change it, and we can change it in only one way. In a democracy, the day of coup is the day of election. And the weapon for coup is this your finger. You change bad leaders by voting them out, not by guns. And then all of you here, you have the weapon, you have your guns, your finger, your thumbprint finger for casting your vote. All of you that are seated here. Now, if you don't use it, who will you blame? If you say, no, my vote will not count, who do you blame? And if you complain, who are you complaining to? Because God has given you opportunity, have given you the health, the good ears, sound head, clear vision, but you decided to say, no, my vote will not count. People rig where they are not popular. Nobody can rig you. If you cast your vote, you work together to protect your vote. Nobody will rig you out. And I'm happy that the era of rigging is gone. If there's one thing these protests have brought to Nigeria, is our sense of unity. If you see the millions of youths on the streets, you will assume that the world is coming to an end. You can't even count them, millions of them, daring the state authority. I read the statistics that were released by MBS, that our judges in Nigeria are the highest corrupt judges in the world, based on the statistics that have been released. I saw the chief of army staff complaining, if they arrest criminals, they will take them to court, they will release them, and the criminals will come after them. So this is our future, all of us. We organize this deliberately so that we can share our mindset, focus on the future, get your PVC. That is your greatest weapon. Don't be deterred. Nobody should intimidate you. It is your country. All of us have shares in Nigeria. Nobody have more share than any other Nigerian. All the shares belongs to all of us. It's only when we agree to be intimidated, we will keep quiet while Nigerian money will be looted away. One individual will steal trillions of naira, and then you have no right to talk. Please, I'm appealing to all of you. We invested to mark this day to honor all of you and honor ourselves. And on behalf of this party, I want to register our deepest gratitude for your presence. We feel honored, we feel respected, we feel that yes, the youth are understanding the dynamics. They know that if they don't put themselves in, nobody will call them. So you have to push yourself in. Nobody will just push you. And you cannot be lying down on the bed, food will be falling inside your mouth. It has never happened. There is no such miracle. There is no such miracle. I can see our service members that are serving the country, the youth corpus, dedicating 1 year to serve the nation, hoping that after the service they will get good job. But this is the society we are talking about. Do we have the capacity to do it? The answer is yes. Are we willing to do it? The answer is yes. Are we in the position to do it? The answer is yes. Why are we not doing it? Because of greed. We have applied diabolism in employment. We have applied ethnic bigotry in the system. If you are not the son of someone, nobody will employ you. This is how bad the system is. People in government establishments collect money up to 1, 2, 3 million naira for someone to get employed. That is the kind of barbarism we are going through. Fellow Nigerians, to get a job, their parents sold their property to send them to school. Train them. It is time for them to take care of their parents. The parents have to sell something to get them employed. There's no great disservice as this. And I wish President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will fish out those ministries and parastatals that they call juicy ministries or parastatals. From the discrimination of the salaries, people who are working in the NNPC are made to look more superior than people that are working in the Ministry of Information. People that are working in Port Authority are made to feel they are more superior than their fellow Nigerians. And these are government agencies, ministries, and parastatals. But they discriminate even on the salary scale. And we think we are doing the right thing. And we think that the conversation is right. It can never be right until the government decided to unify all salaries, stop all this discrimination. Parents will not be struggling to get their sons or daughters get employed in Port Authority or Maritime or Inland Revenue or NNPC, because largely the attention was there because of the salary and motivation. Why can't we apply it above board? Every ministry can be a juicy ministry. Depends on who is there. It's not about the office, it's about the individual. The creativity of individuals can turn any ministry into one of the most attractive ministries in Nigeria. But you have lazy people who have no experience of even being a councillor, being appointed ministers, experimenting on the seat of a minister. And we are serious as a nation. So I'm drawing the attention just the way my patriotic brother have said, Mustafa. We have no any other country except Nigeria. I don't have a visa of any country on earth. If I'm traveling, I have to apply for a visa. I don't have house anywhere except Nigeria. And I will never get house anywhere outside Nigeria. We've been laboring for this country. We fought for the restoration of democracy. Our leaders were sent to prison. Some of us were victimized, but we are still standing because our destiny is in the hands of God, not anybody's hand. So believe that your destiny is in the hands of God, but you have to fight for your right. Don't be intimidated.